Welcome back to another episode of 6th grade math notes. Today we are going to be working on the distributive property. So hopefully we know that the word distribute means to hand out. And when we hand out something, we want to make sure that everyone gets one if it is distributed. So we're going to look at these two problems down here and we are going to discuss how this actually works. So I'm going to do this problem in pictures, and then we will actually do the mathematical form below that. So looking here, I have a 3 with a parenthesis. So I know that a 3 right next to a parenthesis means to multiply. So I'm going to put a big old multiplication sign there. Okay? So we would need to distribute that 3 to everything that is inside the parentheses. But in picture form, this means I have 3 groups. So I am going to make 3 boxes. So let's go ahead and do that. 3 boxes. Okay, and then inside those boxes, I am going to have 2 H's in every single box. So I have 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So every box has 2 H's. Okay, and then if we look further down the problem, we also have 4, and they are positive. So I'm going to put 4 positive signs. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you wanted to, you could even make those circles like counters, but you don't have to. You can just leave the positive signs. So now I just count everything up. So I have 1, 2. Let's see. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 H's. So in my answer, I am going to write 6H, because again, I have 6 H's. And then I have 4, 8, 12 positives. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 H's. And just like we talked about, those are all positive, so plus 12. So that would be with a picture how we distribute. So let's look at the next one. Okay, just like we had before, we have a 2 next to a parentheses, so that means to multiply. So that means I have 2 groups of everything that's inside. So I'm going to draw 2 groups. So 1 group, 2 groups. Okay, and then I have a W. Okay, so we need to talk about this. If you have a letter without a number in front, so this W, if you have no number in front, that has an invisible 1 on it. So that's an invisible math thing that we have. If it has no number, it's a 1. So I need 1 W and 1 W. Okay? And then the next thing I have is positive 4 W's. So I need 4 W's. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then last, I have minus 2 W's. So when we have a minus, okay, when we have a minus 2W, we're actually going to get rid of W's. So I'm just going to mark those out. Get rid of 2 W's in each box. Okay, and then the last thing that we need to talk about is that -3 or that -3 on the back. So this is called our constant because it never changes. So out here all by itself, I'm going to have 3 negatives. And again, if we want, we can make them look like counters because we're used to counters. So let's look at our boxes. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 W's. Because we got rid of these, so I only have 6 left. So my answer is going to be 6W. And then we have this 3 out here, which there's nothing that we can do with it, and it's negative, so 6W minus 3. And that's how we would work out those in picture form. So now we're going to scroll on down, and we're actually going to do it mathematically, how you would do it with the math side. So just like we did before, we have that multiplication sign. So we are going to distribute. And when we distribute, we like to draw arrows. So I'm going to give this 4 to the 2m, and I'm going to give this 4 to the 6. So what that's going to look like is this plus sign is not going to change, so we're going to go ahead and bring it down. Now, I'm going to take this 2m and I'm going to give it a box. And I'm going to give this 6 its own box as well. Okay? So now I'm going to take that 2m and it goes here. And my 6 goes here. Now I am going to distribute. I'm going to give both of these a times 4. So times 4, times 4, because that 4 was on the outside and it was multiplying. So I give each one of them a times 4. Once that is done, I can just solve. So when we have 2m times 4, we multiply the two numbers. So 2 times 4 is 8, and then I had the letter m, so it just goes back on there. And then 6 times 4 is normal multiplication, so 24. And then again, that plus sign in the middle does not change. And I cannot go any further because this 8 has an m, and this one does not. So we can't put those two together. We're done with that problem. So let's go to our next one. This one already has a multiplication symbol, so we're good to go. So we are going to bring down our minus sign. And then I have a box in the front and a box in the back. And just like before, my 4 goes in the front and my 3z goes in the back. And then they both get a times 8. So times 8 times 8. And then I can solve. 4 times 8 is 32. Back here, I do 3 times 8, which is 24. And then I got to put that z back on it. And then my minus goes in the middle. And that's my final answer. All right, let's go to the next one. This one, my number with the parentheses is in the back, but it doesn't matter. It's still multiplication right there. So let's bring down our plus sign. I have my 2 boxes. Okay, and inside my boxes, my first one is a negative 6k. Hopefully we realize that negative is going to be important. And then I have a 4. And then when we distribute, each of them gets a times 2. So times 2 times 2. And when we solve this one, that negative and multiplying means I need an integer man. I have a negative and a positive, so my answer is negative 12, and I have a k. And 4 times 2 is 8, and then my plus sign goes in the middle, and I am done with that problem. All right, let's take a look at this one. So first thing we need to realize is there are 3 pieces. Okay, so that means we're going to have 3 boxes. And I also have this plus 7 back here. So let's go ahead and set up our problem. On this one, I have a plus sign. And I have a minus sign. And I need 3 boxes because I have 3 things inside the parentheses. So again, these only had 2 boxes because there was only 2 things in the parentheses. This one has 1, 2, 3, so I need 3 boxes. All right, and then let's look. I have times 3, but let's fill in our boxes. I need 6r here, 2r, and 4r. And then if we distribute, I have times 3, times 3, and times 3. So they all get a times 3. And last but not least, this plus 7. This is called our constant because it never changes. It's going to go at the end, plus 7, and it stays the same. Now we can solve. So 6 times 3 is 18. So I have 18r. And then 2 times 3 is 6. So I have 6r. 4 times 3 is 12, so I have 12r, and then I can bring down my minus and my plus, And again, we have plus 7 at the back. Now, this is where it gets a little different. These all have an R. All of these have an R. So that means we can actually put those together since they all have the same letter. But we just learned in order of operations, we do first come, first serve. So we are going to do 18 plus 6. 18 plus 6 is 24. And then we got to put that R back on there. Minus 12. Let me do that in black so it matches. 24R. And then we have minus 12R. And then plus 7. Again, doesn't change. And then I can do that last bit because those R's can still go together. And 24 minus 12 is 12R. And then that plus 7 is finally there at the end. So if it's by the end like that, that plus 7, it goes all the way down. It does not change. All right, and then so this is how we would actually see this on a STAR question. So Shay wrote the expression 5y plus 2 plus 4 to show the amount of money 5 friends paid for snacks at a baseball game. Which expression is equivalent to the one Shay wrote? So hopefully we're looking at this and we're saying, oh, okay, this is a distributive problem. I have parentheses, I have a number on the outside, so I need to distribute. So this means to multiply right here, and we have that constant. So looking for that constant, I'm going to go to my answer choices. Do I have a constant? Yes, that one is good. Plus 4, also good. This one has a times 4, and it also has a 4 in the middle. So that's definitely not going to be our answer. And then I have a plus 4 here, so it is good to go. Okay. Next thing I want to look at is if we go back up here and look at our problems, in our distributive, we have like in this one up here, so I'm looking at this one. This has a plus sign in the middle, but we have multiplying on the sides. Okay, this one has plus in the middle, but we have multiplying on the sides. This one has minus, but there's still multiplying. So we need multiplying and adding, all of those things. So if we look at A, we have adding, adding, adding. There's only adding. So we need both symbols. So that's not going to be right. And the same goes for B. We are supposed to have a plus sign in the middle, and this has a multiplication sign. So by process of elimination, D is my answer. Now, if I wanted to solve this and double check, I could also do that. So I have the multiplication. So let's put, I need 2 boxes. I need my plus sign. So plus sign in the middle, box, box. And when I distribute, sorry, I need to fill in my boxes. I got a Y and a 2. Now I can distribute. I got a times 5 and a times 5. And then we have our plus 4 at the back. And then I don't even need to solve because we have our match right there. Now, we have a Y times 5 and they have a 5 times Y, which we just talked about. You can switch the order of multiplication, so that's okay. Same for 2 times 5. They have a 5 times 2. That is okay. As long as our symbols in the middle match, and they do. And that's how you distribute.